Hello, Indianapolis Motor Speedway fans. Doug Boles here with you. We are getting ready to embark on a pretty cool journey every week between now and the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gamebridge. We're going to spend a little bit of time with an NTT INDYCAR Series driver, some of your favorite drivers, one a week as we lead into the most important race in the world. In fact, a race that this guy sitting to my right, who's going to help kick this series off, has won 4 times. But before we do that, Helio Castroneves, for those of you that don't know, 72 hours ago, you didn't even know yet that you were going to win the 24 Hours at Daytona. We just came from that. We're in thermal right now taping this. 3 days ago, you're still racing. What was it like to win the 24 Hours at Daytona?
Incredible, Doug. Thank you. And again, we're really excited to start the season in IndyCar. It's been quite so long from last year. But talking about Daytona 24 Hours, it's just an amazing, especially with the new era, with the prototypes, old technology, brand new. And a lot of people not know if those new cars are going to be able to sustain 24 hours because everything is so new. And for us, Maya Shank Racing basically put a great team together with Acura. Obviously, it was super tough. Every time when you go into any race is always difficult, but when you're talking about 24 hours, there are so many obstacles, so many unknown. And for us to be able to get a second in a row as a team, and for me in particular, 3 in a row, it's absolutely a dream come true.
So it's kind of interesting. So Meyer Shank, you get to help him win the Indianapolis 500 and the 24 Hours at Daytona. That's got to be a pretty special moment for you and Michael Shank and Jim Meyer to share.
No, it's incredible. Sounds like it was a good connection from the beginning, right? Our first race together, we won the Indy 500 and give me the 4th, and their 1st and my 4th. So, and from there on, as you mentioned, Rolex 24 and a lot of great results as well. The championship, also the IMSA last year. So when you have a good people, and sometimes people say like, never happened to good people. This is a perfect example when you believe it, not only yourself, believe the people around you, good things happen to those people, and we're so glad to be part of it.
So let's talk about that 4th Indianapolis 500 win. Because I know there was probably a period in your life where you won the first 2. Probably seemed like it was pretty easy. First one and the second one that you ran. It takes a little while for you to pick up your 3rd. And then we go through a long dry stretch where you finish 2nd, you have a car to win races. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Did you ever, I know you're really positive, but did you ever get to a point where in your mind you thought, I'm not ever going to get that 4th win?
Doug, to me, if I'm keep it going, I believe it. No matter what happens, because racing, it's a sport, it's a very brutal sport, very expensive sport, and at the same time, you lose more than wins more. And but when you get those wins, you know what's the taste. Yes, the taste maybe was going away a little bit, especially the milk. And I was like, I gotta have that milk back. And obviously, I never stopped believing. And I noticed a lot of people, journalists, some of the fans, were sometimes like, maybe it's not gonna happen. But if I would be able to listen to those people, yes, that probably would not happen. And I'm glad that, when I joined with Meyer Shank Racing, they believed it. Right. They knew they could do it. And I said, you know what? This is exactly the sparks that we need to make it happen. So when I actually finished practicing in the carburation day just before the race, I knew I had something very, very special that day, and we're going to be fighting for it. So, and that's exactly what happened.
So you win the race, you checker flag, you see it, you cross. What's going through your mind? And that's 2.5 miles as you're driving back around. And when did you decide, I'm going to stop the car on the front stretch and get out and run? Was that just literally last minute, or did you kind of know before you got there what was going to happen?
Well, it's funny that I was screaming as soon as I crossed the finishing line. I was like, can you believe it? Can you believe it? But I was talking to myself, but like somebody's there. And I tried to remember keep showing the number 4, but I forgot that we had the windshield. So I'm like, I tried to find a way to show the fans, we got it. And I remember coming back, and a little inside story. 1 month before the race, I was at the MSR shop, and one of the troopers from Ohio stopped by to visit. And they were asking about why the pink color, and we were just saying it's just because of awareness of our nation of breast cancer. And he was like, well, what kind of milk do you guys drink when you win the Indy 500? I was like, well, they have a, whole milk, skim milk, and they're like, what about a pink milk? I'm like, that's a great idea. Bring the powder, you know, like pink powder, whatever it is, Nesquik, whatever it is. And I remember going back in turn 3, I was like, tell MB to bring the pink powder. If you hear pink powder, people are like, what is he talking about? So it was a really cool moment to go in. And by the way, stopping right there, the last 3 ones, I stopped similar places as well. Right. So it was kind of like automatic.
Yep.
And it was great to see the fans and everybody cheering.
So this is the first time you've gotten to climb the new fence. The last fence you climbed had the big squares. Was it harder to climb the smaller fence?
It was much better. Thank you so much. It made not only for myself, for the entire team. It was awesome.
So then you and I that summer got to do something that's maybe the coolest thing I've done in my professional career, which was spend a day and a half with the 3 other 4-time winners.
Which you were fantastic.
Well, and so were you. And I talk about how, you know, people say how cool that show was. Well, really, you helped carry that and just kind of engaging everybody. But was it in such a big moment for you like it was for me to sit there with AJ and Rick and Al at the same, especially knowing that we lose Al a few months later?
Yeah, Doug, I mean, you and I talk about, it's like, we gotta do something. This is I know for them, probably it's like, here we go again, you know. But for me, for you, and I think for a lot of the people, the fans, it was incredible to hear the stories again, talking to them, that how brutal war back then was, you know, that you don't know if you're gonna come back alive. That's how crazy it is. Today, probably the competition is a little bit tighter. The safety much, you know, better, thank God. Thank for them as well. But in the same time, it's so different, right? So for me, it was incredible to hear the stories. Plus, they were a lot of fun because they couldn't understand me very well, right? So AJ was like, it was like, okay, it's fine.
And none of them could hear.
And that's right, it was incredible.
None of them could hear, so you had to...
Because you have a perfect English, and I can see they're like, say that again? I was like, okay, guys, not me.
So yeah, it was a really cool moment, and actually the biggest challenge, I thought the biggest challenge organizing that was going to be to get AJ's schedule together, but ultimately you were running in so many different series, you had so many obligations from winning the Indy 500, it was challenging really to find time, and you had to really go out of your way to get there, which I really appreciate, especially now looking back on it.
I wouldn't miss for a bit, and I knew all the circumstances, I knew how, I have the picture, and I will post it, maybe I did it back then, I don't remember, but for each one of the rings from all 4 of us, which was so special. So I'll never forget that day.
One of the things in your career that I know you'd love to do, 4 Indy 500 wins, people would trade that for anything, but I know you'd love to get a championship. How much of a focus is this year in a championship for you?
Huge. The same thing last year, it was the first year finally with the whole team, with MSR team, myself and Simon, understanding the process. It takes, sometimes people don't understand, you know, it takes a lot to, especially in IndyCar Series, NTT INDYCAR Series, so competitive. All the teams are, we're talking about a small difference. When you're going to qualify, probably a 10th is probably 7 cars in the same 10th. Yep. So that's why it's so hard. But the process, it takes time. If you put a company together, it might take 1, 2, 3 years for you to start making money. And it's the same thing with the race team. When everything is first time, it might take, you know, a few races for you to still take it going. So thank God, now we've got that way, this experience or all the bugs out, and we're looking forward to a great 2023.
So, Indianapolis 500, you win the 4th one in 2021. In 2022, when you walk down pit lane, did it feel different? Did you hear more noise from the fans? It felt like, for me, the fans were they've always been engaged in you, but were super engaged last year, knowing that you were now a 4th-time winner.
It was incredible because it sparks again that hope, you know, are we gonna have someone that never ever won 5 times? You know, this is gonna be incredible. Not only the fans, I can see that everyone is really sparked that moment that they wanna, obviously, we're gonna do it again. But with the program, oh my God, that was, I was like, oh my God, again. Because I'm an emotional guy. I wear the emotion in my sleeve. I was like, that was incredible. It made people still believe, and I still believe that we can make it 5. And I tell you what, 2023 could be the year.
You know, you are an unbelievable ambassador for our sport. You have been so much fun. I love your passion for the Indianapolis 500. Thank you for kicking off this series with us. Congratulations on the 24-hour race. I can't wait to see what you can do this year. And number 5, it'd be pretty special. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, our 4-time Indianapolis 500 winner, our 4th one, Helio Castroneves, whose brick is going to go in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that he actually helped us build and make. The bronze brick is going to go in still later this month. When you're there in May, you'll see it, and he'll be driving across it trying to win number 5.